Welcome to our class's courtroom. Today I'm going to go over how to put your writing on trial. Will the arguments you drafted out in your body paragraphs bear up under scrutiny? When the jury comes back, will they support your defense or dismiss your case due to a lack of evidence? Awesome writing happens when you add in some credible evidence. This is just like how cases in the courtroom are won by multiple pieces of airtight evidence, connecting a defendant's DNA to the crime scene and having multiple eyewitnesses strengthens the prosecutor's case. In the same way, adding cited direct quotes of no more than 30 words, and cited paraphrases makes your argument more authoritative and credible. Such use of research is also going to tip the scales of justice in your favor in terms of the grade you will earn too. Also, just like how evidence supports the prosecutor's case, research, as indicated by this highlighted text, should qualify your statements, not make your statement for you. Note here how the cited paraphrase is only one small part of the paragraph. Think about how bad a prosecutor's case would be if he or she just came into the courtroom and laid out the evidence with no story behind it. If the jury cannot understand why the evidence is relevant, the jury is not going to be persuaded by the case. This is why the story that the prosecutor gives, along with the evidence, is even more important than the evidence itself. To put this in writer's terms, cited direct quotes or cited paraphrases should be used sparingly to support what is being argued in the paragraph. The direct quote or paraphrase should only be one small part of the paragraph. In fact, about at least 90% of your information in your essay should be originally phrased content. A direct quote or a paraphrase should be used to support points you make, not be the only points you make. Making sure your research comprises no more than 10% of your essay will make your instructor happy and work to ensure you write a great essay. At this point, you may be confused about what direction to take to succeed in writing a balanced essay that cites research but does not rely on it too heavily. There are some rules of thumb you can use to guide you when adding in a cited direct quote into a paragraph. Rule number 1 is, when you decide to quote, use quotes sparingly. Avoid relying too heavily on one source, using too long of quotes, and using too many quotes. Rule number 2 is, as a general rule of thumb, aim to insert no more than one direct quote of no more than 30 words in length per paragraph. Think of a quote as being the one rich and creamy latte you should have once a week rather than every day. So, now you may be asking yourself when you should use a direct quote. You should use a direct quote when accuracy is vital. Use a direct quote when the author has phrased the point so well that if you tried to paraphrase it, you would compromise the integrity of the information. Next, you should use a direct quote when an expert voice can lend credibility and weight to your argument. Finally, use a direct quote when the source states the information more concisely than you can paraphrase it. Do keep in mind that if you are directly quoting another person's work, you must include an in-text citation in your paper and an entry in your reference list. More specifically, however, you might be wondering how to include a direct quote in your work. An in-text citation for a direct quote should include the author last name, year of publication, and page or paragraph number. Susan Small reflects the author name, in parentheses, 2010, reflects the year the information was published. Finally, in parentheses again, page 23, reflects the page number on which the information was located. Another way to cite the same quote is to use an in-text citation where the author last name, year, and page or paragraph number are inside of one parenthetical citation. Don't forget that for every in-text citation in the body of the essay, there needs to be a coordinating reference citation in the references page of the essay. Now we are ready to move on to learn how to add cited paraphrases to your work. When should you use a cited paraphrase in your paragraphs? You should paraphrase when you want to express the idea or intent of the information, rather than the exact language itself. Use paraphrasing to be concise. Oftentimes, you can take what is being expressed and make it more concise. When you can do this, it is best to paraphrase. When writing your essay, you might also be asking yourself, why do I need to add a cited paraphrase to your paragraphs? Cited paraphrases have the added bonus of adding weight and credibility to your essay without increasing your similarity index. Most academic institutions allow no more than 10% of the words in an essay to be direct quotes. Therefore, by summarizing expert information into your own words you can both add weight to your arguments, Keep your similarity index low, and keep originality index high. So, how do I paraphrase? If you are paraphrasing another person's work, you must include an in-text citation in your paper and an entry in your reference list. In this example, the author and year are separated, but note that the in-text citation still has all of the right parts, the author last name, and year, in it. In this next example, the author and year are integrated into one parenthetical citation that follows the paraphrased information. Note that the citation still notes the author last name and year. Finally, note that your cited paraphrase should also have its full reference citation in the references page. All in all, think of your direct quotes and paraphrases as being a small part of the evidence that you need to share with your audience to win your case.